This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Good morning. A live look right here at 65 South. Earlier today, all lanes here were closed and people were being forced off onto 131A, so that's I-264 eastbound. And this is because of a shooting investigation that was underway. LMPD said a woman was shot around 3:45 a.m. this morning. We still don't know a lot of the circumstances around this, but she was taken to the hospital. Let's go live to Marissa Burke, who's at U of L Hospital with more.
Good morning. Yes, we're at U of L Hospital where the woman that police found shot on I-65 South was found. We know that they originally got the call that there was a car crash, but when they arrived, that's where they found this woman shot. And here's what the scene looked like around 4 o'clock this morning. It was a large police presence that shut down part of from Waterston to Grade Lane. At last check, police say that the woman has non-life-threatening injuries and she was in surgery. About 5 a.m. this morning is when the forensic team arrived on scene. By 6 a.m., police cars repositioned for the tow truck to move this woman's car out of the way. And by 6:15, all lanes reopened. Detectives are still wanting to learn more about what exactly led up to this situation, so they were waiting on this woman to get out of surgery. But if anyone has any information, they ask you to call 574-LMPD. Back to you, Shannon.
And I'll take it from here, Marissa. Thanks so much for the update and keeping an eye on that traffic. As she was saying, it was such a mess out there this morning. We're talking about the area on 65 South. Much more clear out there at this point, and that is certainly a good thing. The traffic is moving along like we'd like to see it, and this is green light means go, and that's kind of where we're at this point. But if you do see any first responders still out there on 65 South where that happened this morning, certainly pull over and give them a lot of extra room to do their job. Back over to you, Shannon.
Oh, I'll take it here. Sunshine out there this morning, some beautiful blue skies, some clouds overhead as well. So everything looking good to start off your day. Temperatures in the upper 40s and low 50s in most spots. A little bit cooler now at the airport where we're down to 57 degrees. So yes, it feels quite nice with a couple of clouds drifting overhead. Over the next 12 hours, we'll end up in the upper 70s and low 80s for your highs with that mix of sun and clouds, especially for those of you north and northeast of the Louisville metro. And looking into the next couple of days, we do have a front pushing through tomorrow, but rain chances with that still looking pretty minimal, and we'll keep that lower humidity, the sunshine, and the pleasant weather even into the holiday weekend. So things are looking good as we head over the next few days. I'll talk about a front trying to bring us some much needed rain for next week in my full forecast.
Thanks.
And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground.
That's Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, outraged after 2 children were killed and 17 others injured in a shooting at a Catholic school and church, 14 of them children. The FBI is investigating the shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and hate crimes targeting Catholics. This morning, we're learning more about this suspect and the connection that person has to our community. The FBI says 23-year-old Robin Westman fired through church windows at the Annunciation Catholic Church Wednesday morning. Children and their teachers at the time were praying during the morning mass, celebrating the start of the school year. An 8- and 10-year-old were killed, and 17 other victims, including the 14 children, are expected to survive. One student says he was saved by a classmate who shielded him with his body.
My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit. My mom was waiting outside of the church when it happened. I was scared that I wasn't going to see her because I didn't know what was happening really. I was just in shock.
The FBI says the shooter had graduated from Annunciation's grade school in 2017, where the suspect's mother retired from in 2021. Investigators say Westman was fascinated with mass killings. They believe he acted alone and shot and killed himself. Westman underwent a legal name change from Robert to rob in. This morning, investigators are reviewing videos Westman had posted on YouTube before the shooting. One shows weapons and ammunition with names of previous mass shooters and other hateful phrases written on them. Westman is the nephew of former Kentucky state lawmaker Bob Helleringer. He represented parts of Jefferson, Oldham, and Shelby counties from 1980 to 2003. Helleringer told the Associated Press he did not know Westman well and called the violence an unspeakable tragedy. The Archdiocese of Louisville offered its own words after the attack. Archbishop Fobbs said, "I invite the faithful of the Archdiocese of Louisville to join me in praying for the repose of the souls of those killed, the victims who were injured, and the Annunciation community. Let us continue to pray for peace in our communities." Now, of course, this latest school shooting has again schools reevaluating their own safety plans. The anti-gun violence advocacy organization called Every Town for Gun Safety says the Minneapolis shooting is at least the 5th at a K-12 school in the U.S. just since the beginning of August. In the Fayette County Public School System, Chief of Police Martin Schaefer says their active shooter plans are constantly evolving through training and resources.
And it's something that we take serious and we think about every day, and not just on days when the events happen, but every day. And so I feel like our students, staff, and families realize that there is a support network within our schools that includes the school police department.
The chief says the officers make sure to foster positive relationships with students in the school so they have someone to talk to. Child psychologists say while parents have anxiety about this, of course, it's important to keep your child on a regular routine, and parents should monitor children's screen time and social media use as well. A family and community is looking for justice after a driver hit and killed a 41-year-old man before then leaving the scene early Sunday morning in Jeffersonville. Jeffersonville police say Samuel Carlisle was killed when a car hit him while walking on 8th Street Sunday. Friends and family say hearing the news was devastating. They say Carlisle was well known in Jeffersonville, always offering to help people fix things, making jokes, making people smile. And now they're begging the community for any information they might have about who took Carlisle's life.
To hit someone and go off and leave them and don't call and get help for him, just let him lay there and die. That's a cold-hearted person. Whoever done this, I would like for them to come forward and give him justice so he can rest in peace.
The Jeffersonville Police Department says they have a vehicle and person of interest, but so far haven't released more details about that. When we get them, we'll share those with you here on Wave News. We're working to learn if charges will be filed after Jeffersonville police say a man showed up to the hospital with a gunshot wound. It happened yesterday morning before 11. JPD says the victim drove themselves to the Norton Clark Hospital after being shot. Officers did not say where the shooting happened. Police say they know everyone involved in this shooting, but so far no arrests have been made. A second juvenile is now facing charges for a deadly Newburgh shooting earlier this year. That happened June 23rd on Ridgecrest Avenue, not far from the GE Appliance Park. A teenage boy died at the scene before he could be taken to the hospital. Metro Police say they've arrested a 16-year-old and charged him with murder complicity. Another juvenile was arrested last week and charged with murder and possession of a handgun by a minor. The team's names have not been released. A young girl who was paralyzed during a road rage shooting in 2023 will now have to wait longer for justice. A judge pushed back the start of Shelby Bisconner's trial because she changed her lawyer. Bisconner is accused of firing several shots at Edward Sark during a road rage incident on I-65 in 2023. Police say when Sark returned fire, he hit 6-year-old Onyx Sands, who was riding in another car with her mother on the interstate, and now she's in a wheelchair. Onyx's mother says she's frustrated about having to wait for justice.
I want them put away forever. I want them to be locked up for as long as she has to be in a wheelchair. I think that's fair.
Bisconner's new bond hearing is Tuesday, September 2nd. Earlier this month, another man charged in the incident, Jonathan Rivera, pleaded guilty to 5 counts of wanton endangerment. Well, a major detour is going to happen next summer. Part of one of the busiest interstates in Louisville will be closed next year for 2 months. Transportation leaders will shut down I-65 from Jefferson Street, to the Watterson from June through July of 2026 to fast track replacing 3 bridges. It's part of the I-65 Central Corridor project. Leaders say there is no way to get this done without serious disruptions to traffic. Project managers say they made the decision, trying to be mindful this is going to create a major inconvenience for drivers. Officials say the 3 bridges being replaced in this first phase of construction are all more than 60 years old and rated as being in poor condition. The plan is to partially reopen the interstate in August next year, so construction can continue through mid-2027. It's expected to cost $150 million. Nearly 2,000 kids are back in the classroom today, part of the JCPS Early Childhood Program. This is for 3 to 5-year-olds to help get them ready for kindergarten. Let's go back to Rob with a closer look at it.
Yeah, and Shannon, school spokespersons tell me that the programs are designed to prepare children socially, physically, emotionally, and educationally for elementary school. JCPS offering full, half-day, and home-based program options. Now, some of those programs are free to income-eligible families. Others are tuition-based. Educators telling me that the early childhood classes make the most of children's learning capabilities and prepare them for kindergarten. The curriculum supports the district's vision for reading, writing, and mathematics. Ongoing student assessments, those are always used to measure skill development and mastery. And with this being the very first day, preparation, as always, is key.
Just to really focus on routines, making sure that you get your child to bed at a good time so that they are well rested and ready to go in the morning. And also that if that you are out at that bus stop early, and being patient with our drivers as it happens with our K-12 folks. The first few days, the buses may not be exactly on time. We're working out those kinks.
Early childhood programs and services include Head Start, Early Head Start, state-funded preschool, tuition-based preschool, and early childhood special services. Staley adds that with the school shooting tragedy in Minneapolis yesterday, security, as always, will be of utmost importance. Now back over to you, Shannon.
Thank you so much. All right, coming up, Shawnee High School students are spending the days now in the skies instead of the classroom. Hear from a student on how this new aviation program has really inspired him. New this morning, the United Auto Workers Alliance says a majority workers at the new Blue Oval SK battery plant voted to unionize. The UAW says there are 41 ballots that are being challenged by Blue Oval. The union calls the challenge a delay tactic and says it will fight to defend the workers' votes. 5,000 workers are expected to be employed at the battery factory in Glendale. The batteries being built in the plant will be used in Ford vehicles. The UAW is calling on Ford to acknowledge a union at the battery factory. U of L Athletic Director Josh Hurd says he wants to discuss with the NCAA the possibility of reinstating the Cards' 2013 national title. U of L was forced to vacate the 2013 men's basketball national championship in 2017 by the NCAA after an investigation revealed recruits were getting impermissible benefits. Revisiting the issue comes after the NCAA ruled Michigan did not have to forfeit their football title after being found guilty of multiple infractions. In a statement, Josh Hurd said, "Now is the appropriate time to revisit Louisville sanctions with the NCAA, including the prohibition on displaying a championship banner." It goes on to say, "We look forward to engaging with current NCAA leadership in hopes of seeing a fair and meaningful resolution." No word yet on if or when that meeting will take place. But could we see that banner hanging up again? We shall see. All right, here is Tawana. We've been enjoying all these gorgeous sunrises this week.
Yeah,
right?
they've been really just outdoing themselves.
No, really, good job, sun.
Exactly, and the clouds too. We got to give the clouds some credit today because
that's true.
They're helping out with the sunrises that we're seeing. Now, we can see those beautiful sunrises showing up in Grayson County and Adair County and those cameras there. But Carroll County again this morning, you do have a little bit of that patchy fog going on in your area, but now that the sun is up in the next 2 hours, you are going to see significant improvements. Temperatures are in the 40s and low 50s in most spots. Our warm spot, 57 degrees at the airport in Louisville. Looking across the metro right now, we're seeing temperatures ranging from 53 degrees in New Albany, same thing for those of you in Fern Creek, to 52 in Shively and 50 degrees right now in Jeffersonville. We do have a couple of clouds drifting through the area right now. We're going to keep an eye on some more of those clouds off towards our north. Those will move in for later on this morning into the afternoon and evening. Keep in mind that's mainly for those of you north and east of the metro. You'll see some of those extra clouds, and that's going to keep your highs in the 70s for later on today, while the rest of us climb into the low 80s for highs for this afternoon. Now, once we head into tonight, going to keep our skies mainly clear as we tumble down into the 50s for lows in most spots. Some low 60s still possible in the Louisville metro. Here is your 10-day. Tomorrow, we're talking about another front moving through the region. This is going to help to bring a little bit more of those extra clouds overhead and a small rain chance pretty early in the morning as we approach that 3, 4, 5 o'clock time frame. Then again, we could see some isolated showers Friday afternoon for those of you south of 64. Overall, though, most of us going to be drier as that cooler air gradually takes over. So that means for the Racing Louisville match, we're still looking at temperatures in the 70s with some clouds overhead, but overall a beautiful and comfortable evening. Then we head into the weekend, some upper 70s and low 80s for highs for both through Saturday and Sunday. So that means for those of you heading out to the U of L football game, the first home game of the season, while you're tailgating, you'll be in the 70s. By the time that matchup starts, we should be near 80 degrees, and we should be hovering in the upper 70s and low 80s throughout that matchup. And basically looking at a cooler forecast for those of you maybe heading to Lexington for that UK matchup against Toledo. We should see temperatures in the 60s and low 70s for the tailgating because the game doesn't start until 12:45, and we'll be in the 70s throughout that matchup. Labor Day still looking good, some mid-80s for highs then, and then a cold front arrives on Wednesday of next week, bringing some scattered showers back into our forecast, and we'll keep some of those rain chances into Thursday before we see some drier and cooler temperatures to end next week.
Thank you, Tawana. A new program is letting high school students take to the skies. It's at Shawnee, and students in the Aviation Magnet program are spending their school days not in the classroom, but at this field. 19 juniors and seniors from Shawnee who spend all day, every school day here, are getting direct exposure to flight operations, not just reading about it. The program is a first of its kind in JCPS. The students take flight lessons in the air, they attend an FAA ground school, and have a certified teacher in the hangar to teach them their core classes too. The program's goal is to make Shawnee the leading aerospace program in the state.
When I seen the aviation program, I wanted to take the opportunity and be a part of it to show kids like me that they can reach their goals just like how I am right now.
Flight Club 502 is partnering with the school to make this possible, and now that they'll have access to planes and flight simulators, the next step is to add a drone program too. You can give your thoughts on what you would like to see at the Belvedere. We'll tell you when that meeting will take place next. Oh my goodness, I gotta check my tickets, but I know I didn't win the big prize because new this morning, the Powerball jackpot is jumping to nearly $1 billion. No one had all the winning numbers to last night's drawing. The jackpot for Saturday's drawing will now be $950 million, the sixth largest jackpot in the history of the game. No one has won Powerball's jackpot since May 31st. Your odds of winning? 1 in 292 million. Louisville scoring big on a major list. 4 local spots made it onto USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards for Best Attraction for Sports Fans. The Kentucky Derby Museum placed 6th. The Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory came in 4th. Churchill Downs Racetrack came in at 5, and the Muhammad Ali Center came in at 10th place. You have the chance to weigh in and learn more about the future redesign of the Belvedere. There'll be 5 listening sessions throughout September. Everyone's invited to learn more and talk about what kind of things they would like to see at the newly reimagined park. The project executive will also share the goals for this and some of the history, too, behind the Belvedere. So these are when those 5 sessions will happen at different libraries and community centers. The first one is September 8th at 6 at Iroquois Library, and then there's one then the very next day, September 9th at 6 at the Northeast Regional Library. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with another look at news and weather.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kogan. All lanes of I-65 South near 264 are back open. They were closed for hours this morning because of a shooting. LMPD initially went to that scene thinking it was a crash, but then they found a woman shot on the interstate near Grade Lane around 3:45 this morning. She was taken to U of L Hospital. Police say she is expected to survive. They say she was in surgery. They have not made any arrests, and police haven't said what led to that shooting. They continue to investigate. Let's go right now to Tawana taking a look at the weather.
And what we're seeing across the region this morning, some gorgeous sunrises, including in E-Town where the sun is now up. We're seeing the blue skies overhead and keeping an eye on some upper level clouds. They're off into the distance. Those clouds are off towards the southwest, and we see some mid to upper level clouds now drifting through portions of Indiana. Everybody's on the cool side, back into those upper 40s and low 50s in most spots to start off the day. We'll add in some additional clouds for later on this morning and into the afternoon, mainly mid to upper level clouds. Those of you further to the northeast could get some additional clouds overhead because of some showers diving towards Cincinnati. Temperatures, though, climbing into the upper 70s and low 80s for your highs this afternoon. We'll return to the 50s in most spots overnight, and then we'll talk about a little bit more of those upper 70s and low 80s for highs through the weekend and into the beginning of next week. Rob?
Tawana, thanks so much, and happy to say, as Shannon was talking about earlier, 65 South near Grade Lane is now back open after that shooting investigation that started about 3:45 this morning. A different story, though, if you're out on 64, both east and west on 64. We're looking at disabled vehicles near the 265 interchange right there. Again, this is 64 at 265. 2 reported cases of disabled vehicles. Give yourself extra time.